From the Cronkite studios in downtown Phoenix, this is Cronkite News.
Parts of the valley and Tucson get some snow, while other parts of the state are digging out from several feet of it. We have the latest totals and reaction coming up.
Plus, this winter storm is taking a toll on our streets and freeways, and not just by making them slippery. We'll tell you how ADOT is working to make the roads safe around potholes.
Customs and Border Protection say there was enough fentanyl seized in Arizona last year to kill 75 million people. We'll talk to experts to find out exactly how dangerous the drug is.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Austin Bundy.
And I'm Sammy Giebers. Thank you for joining us. Snow in Flagstaff is not uncommon, but Thursday's snow was historic.
Flagstaff is buried in snow, 40.1 inches of it. The city is under a state of emergency and the flakes haven't stopped falling. With the declaration, the city can ask for additional resources from Coconino County. All non-essential city services were closed today, and all available resources are responding to help out in the storm.
Just under 3 feet of snow fell yesterday, making it the snowiest single day in history. The previous record was 31 inches, set back in 1915. Flagstaff is set to see even more snow today, 3 to 5 inches more than Thursday, if the forecast is right.
All the rain and snow is causing problems on the roads.
Potholes are appearing on valley freeways and streets from the rain, and roads are icy, some even closed in the higher elevations. Arizona Department of Transportation is focusing most of their resources in northern Arizona, where over 40 inches of snow has already fallen. ADOT spokesman Ryan Harding says almost 200 snowplows are working to keep up with the snowfall.
We can get all of our plows out, and like I said, you have an operator that works for about 12 hours. Then they'll come back in, they'll get off. The second employee will come in and take that truck and go back out and do their shift for another 12 hours. So our crews are out there around the clock during the storm.
Harding says Thursday a truck tried to pass a snowplow and it hit it, putting it out of commission. Harding says you should stay at least 4 car lengths away from the plows and wait until they finish and go to the side of the road to get by. ADOT says it will tackle the potholes left after this storm after the roads dry out.
Bain Froney joins us now in the Weather Center. Bain, how much rain and snow have we seen across the state during this storm?
We are in our own little winter wonderland here in Arizona. Places as close as Scottsdale got 6 inches of snow in the past couple of days, and even in Carefree, 4 to 8 inches of snow, and of course Flagstaff, 40 inches of snow. That's unheard of. But good news, it is going to be moving away during the weekend, but right now we are seeing a little bit of rain still here in Phoenix, about almost 2 inches of rain in the past couple of days, which is a ton, especially for this time of year. The snow is still going up in the north and a little bit in the south as well, but as the weekend continues, that snow and rain will be moving out away from us as the week continues. So be sure to be seeing some more warmer temperatures throughout the rest of the week. On Saturday, we're going to be seeing a little bit of cloud coverage as well through Monday, but then we're going to be seeing temperatures increase up to 68 by Monday. But for the rest of the week, we will be seeing that temperature increase as well with a little bit of clouds, but Thursday we will be seeing that sunshine once again. In the Weather Center, Bain Froney, Cronkite News.
Another area of the state that received some snowfall this Friday, Tucson.
Just under an inch of snow fell this morning down in the southern part of the state. The Tucson airport tweeted this out with the snow falling and covering the cacti. There were some delays and cancellations out of there on this snowy Friday.
The snowflakes were pretty big, and Sammy, as you mentioned, there wasn't a whole lot of snow, but it was still enough for these U of A students to build a snowman on their campus.
It's been raining and snowing across the state of Arizona, and now just an hour outside of Phoenix, it's a winter wonderland. Gabriela Becerra takes us to Carefree, where the cacti were covered in snow.
That's our Swiss chard right there.
Stella McPhee has been working at the Carefree Farmers Market every week for the past 15 years.
We've got green beans, $2 there.
Today, she was one of the only vendors to show up.
I just felt really lucky that I didn't get the memo that the farmers market was closed.
It's not something you see every day. Snow covering the ground less than an hour from Phoenix.
I've been here 44 years. The first time I saw snow on the ground.
Snow on rocks.
In Arizona, it's a desert.
Snow on cacti.
They're not supposed to be on cactuses. It's so weird because lots of snow doesn't come at Phoenix, Arizona.
Rylan Melton says his favorite part is the snowballs.
Throwing it at people.
Despite the fun for the kids, McPhee and Accourt don't want to see the snow in the desert more often.
Oh, no, I run away from snow. It's nice for young people.
Oh, I don't know. It's nice that it's here for a couple days and then it goes away and gets sunny again.
In Carefree, Gabriela Becerra, Cronkite News.
The National Weather Service reported that the Cave Creek and Carefree area received snowfall ranging from 4 to 12 inches.
Arizona lawmakers could be expanding exemptions from children vaccination requirements. After hours of testimony from vaccination opponents, Republicans on a state House committee voted to create religious vaccine exemptions for school children. This is in addition to the state's personal belief exemption. The committee also passed a bill requiring doctors to provide all information about vaccine ingredients, as well as a bill that requires them to offer patients an antibody test for immune diseases.
Tons of marijuana, hundreds or thousands of pounds of heroin. Compared to those numbers, the 242 pounds of fentanyl seized so far this year by border agents in Arizona may seem trivial. But there's nothing trivial about the deadly punch of even a tiny amount of the drug, as Love Junius reports from our Washington bureau.
When Customs and Border Protection officers confiscated more than 250 pounds of the deadly drug fentanyl at Nogales last month, they seized in one fell swoop more than half of the fentanyl that had been confiscated in the state's preceding year.
In Arizona, in 2018, DEA and our law enforcement partners had seized 445 pounds of fentanyl, which is roughly enough to kill 75 million people.
But is it really that deadly? Experts say absolutely. It's so dangerous, it has been used as a weapon.
I believe it was in Moscow, actually, back in maybe early 2000s. I'd have to double check the date. It was used as an aerosol.
DEA spokesman Melvin Patterson says there is enough in one shake of a salt or pepper shaker to kill.
We know that 2 milligrams for the average person that's not using any type of opioids, that would be a deadly or a lethal dose.
That is this much. Fentanyl is often mixed in with other opioids or pressed into a pill and passed as prescription. Clother says you can't tell the difference between street or legal with the naked eye.
The only way to find out is to test the drug, but even that requires extra safety measures.
That then is repackaged in additional external packaging, so that way when it crosses hands, it is an extra layer of protection.
Despite the dangers of fentanyl, Patterson says Americans have no one to blame but themselves for the problem.
We have to start listening to our officials, people with the FDA and HHS, that are saying these substances are very, very dangerous.
In Washington, Love Junius, Cronkite News.
As public safety officials across the country attempt to mitigate this fentanyl coming through the border, some medical officials say there are other contributing factors to this epidemic. Cronkite News reporter Bayan Wang spoke to the president-elect of the American Medical Association today. Bayan, how are medical professionals tackling this issue?
Yeah, I caught up with Dr. Patrice Harris, and one thing she made clear is that there isn't just one answer that would solve this epidemic. She said multiple factors play a part, including a patient's accessibility to proper medications like methadone, quality rehab centers, and insurance companies adjusting their prior authorization for vital medications. She says that's especially important for those struggling with addiction because they may not be able to wait for those proper medications and seek illegal options instead.
You call your insurance, or I may call your insurance, or I may refer you, and they say, no, we need you to fill out this form, and we may get back to you in 3-7 days. And that's just unacceptable because for this epidemic, a delay in care could mean death.
And Harris said the American Medical Association is working with several states, some of which have created statutes to adjust prior authorization policies in an effort to fight the opioid epidemic. Bayan Wang, Cronkite News.
Amazon surprised a group of Valley High School students with $10,000 to support STEM education. Reporter Nicole Hernandez went on a tour of a fulfillment center with students from Maricopa Institute of Technology.
We've got a surprise.
A surprise of $10,000 for the Maricopa Institute of Technology. MIT is a STEM-focused high school teaching their students everything from
science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and medicine.
In honor of National Engineers Week, Amazon invited the students to showcase their work and tour one of the fulfillment centers.
Being able to come out and share the things that we're doing is very exciting. But a lot of the robotics competitions are very expensive.
Since MIT is a fairly new school, the money will help pay for competitions and materials for projects.
It's pretty amazing to see these students in high school doing things that were so advanced for me even several years ago when I was in college.
And for the students, seeing Amazon in action gave real-world perspective to their STEM path.
The math and the science and all the theory that you learn in class, you want to apply it. And so with Amazon, this is a great partner to be able to see how they apply the technology and how to use that technology to prepare our students for careers in those fields.
That critical thinking that engineers have, it's crucial to the growth of our company as well as the future of our country.
A future that's dependent on students like these.
To hear that we're the future, it allows for us to believe it, and we know that we've got a lot ahead of us here.
In Phoenix, Nicole Hernandez, Cronkite News.
The student tour here in Phoenix helped to kick off Amazon's new public tour program, allowing anyone to schedule tours of fulfillment centers nationwide.
Next Tuesday marks the 100th anniversary of the Grand Canyon.
And here at Cronkite News, we're celebrating its centennial by sharing your favorite photos and memories from the Grand Canyon. Text the word canyon to the number on your screen. That's 602-536-9815 to get started.
Your memories and photos may be shared right here on Cronkite News, on our website, or on our social platforms. Again, text Canyon to 602-536-9815 to share your photos with us for the Grand Canyon Centennial celebration next week.
Coming up next, we take a look back at some of the top stories from this past week, including a look at how those who live in the rural parts of the state get treatment to fight opioid addiction.
And how one Native American girl is teaching fellow Indigenous women self-defense. But first, here's a look at what's coming up on Arizona Horizon and PBS NewsHour.
On the next Arizona Horizon, it's the Journalists Roundtable, a plan to let voters decide on an increase to the education tax, advances in the legislature, but no such luck for a move to eliminate legislative immunity from certain arrests.
I'm Judy Woodruff. On the next NewsHour, a profile of playwright Terrell McCraney and his Broadway hit Choir Boy. That's Friday on the PBS NewsHour. I'm Judy Woodruff, anchor and managing editor of the PBS NewsHour. The journalists of tomorrow face a fast-changing media landscape, but quality news remains vitally important to our communities, our country, and our world. At ASU's Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication, students learn solid, reliable reporting, holding the powerful accountable, and rebuilding the public's trust. The Cronkite School and Arizona PBS, preparing the next generation for a stronger future of journalism.
With wildfires, a scarcity of water, and other environmental issues facing the Earth today, it's critical to stay up to date with local impacts of a changing climate. That's why we created Elemental, Covering Sustainability, a multimedia collaboration between public television and radio stations. From climate change to water conservation to renewable energy and much more, Elemental covers the latest in sustainability news. Find our stories on our website, elementalreports.com.
Stay in the know on the go. At Cronkite News, we work hard to report the facts and keep you updated, whether we're on set or on the scene.
Taking it from the studio to the field. So I'm here in South Phoenix.
In Phoenix, we're just a click away. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, or find us online at cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
For those addicted to opioids who live in the more rural part of our state, there's an additional hurdle to fighting addiction. They have to travel several hours each day to receive treatment.
Cronkite News reporter Bryce Newberry met one family near the New Mexico border and followed along on their trip to a methadone clinic.
Yeah, this is something Maggie Phillips has done for years. It's part of the routine in her family. But she said for people still addicted to opioids and even considering this type of treatment, it's a huge commitment to get started.
Say hi. Good morning.
Once a month,
It's time to wake up and get ready for school, okay?
as the sun comes up in Morenci,
Don't go back to sleep.
it's a race to get out the door of the Phillips household.
They're still pretty little, so they go to the clinic with me. I don't think the 4 and 3-year-old quite grasp what it is I'm doing there yet.
While 8-year-old Jackson heads to school, Maggie Phillips loads her 2 toddlers, Jason and Jesse, into the car for the nearly 1-hour drive each way to Safford. The drive required for Maggie to get her monthly supply of methadone. She first used opioids.
Now, Maggie is not alone. Addiction is a problem all across the state of Arizona. So, Bryce, are there any other locations for these clinics across the state?
Yeah, so a lot of other companies do operate in the state, but Community Medical Services is the largest one in Arizona. They actually operate 12 different locations, and they're working on opening 6 more clinics in rural areas like Sierra Vista, Nogales, and Yuma.
In response to the number of missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls, the educational nonprofit Indigenous Vision is turning the tide with a movement for missing and murdered Indigenous warriors. Cronkite News reporter Imani Stevens shows us how a Valley teen is fighting with the nonprofit to teach others how to defend themselves against attacks. Imani?
Brave woman, that's not just Kylie Hunton Winter's Instagram name, where she has nearly 40,000 followers, but her Native American name that she was given by a medicine man as a baby. She is living to her name by teaching self-defense class in response to the number of missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls. I went to one of her first classes teaching students of the Native American Club at Westwood High School in Mesa. As a 16-year-old high school student, Kylie Hunton Winter recently received her black belt in Kenpo Karate. She's a part of the Standing Rock Sioux Nation and teaches self-defense classes and has various belts in multiple styles.
We have to be more prepared for ourselves, which is a major reason why I'm teaching self-defense.
In his hand, this is hurting him, it's isolating him.
They assume that our lifestyles have something to do with drugs, alcohol, and risky situations.
Together, Suta Calling Lass and Hunton Winter are working to reduce this problem. Calling Lass says now is the time to do something while she waits on legislators to implement policies that will protect Native American women and girls.
Because in between now and the policy, women will still go missing.
An Urban Indian Health Institute study that began in 2017 found out there were 506 cases of missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls from 71 urban cities.
Remember, if you are taken, you are only 10% likely to make it home alive.
That same study reports that out of those 506 unique cases, 280 were murder cases.
It could be me. An unprecedented amount of women from my community are disappearing at alarming rates, and it's an epidemic in Canada and the U.S. Indigenous Warriors movement that we're hoping to create really hopes to turn that tide.
Teaching those in the class to shout, draw attention, and fight back, even if it's counter to how society tells them how to act.
As I've heard someone say, their ego is not worth your life.
Her journey to helping others doesn't end in the classroom. Next month, Kylie Hunton Winter will be teaching more life-saving techniques to other teens at her reservation, and this summer at a camp for Native American girls in foster care in Montana. Live in the studio, Imani Stevens, Cronkite News.
Arizona cattle ranchers are using innovative ways to produce good quality beef. Ashley Carter takes us to a cattle ranch to see how they're developing better beef while catering to the cows' well-being.
The beef industry has changed since Chuck Backus bought his ranch 42 years ago.
The quality of the cattle have increased considerably over that time, mostly due to careful breeding, selective breeding it's called. The cattle have gotten more efficient, they've gotten better acclimated to different climates.
Tiffany Salchow of the Arizona Beef Council says research is key to improvement in the industry.
We are a community of people that are always looking at ways to improve what we're doing. So we like to say we're always continuously improving things.
At the Quarter Circle U Ranch near Gold Canyon, ranchers genetically breed cows to exhibit more independent behavior, including giving birth without help.
Out here in the Superstition Mountains, it takes us about an hour to hour and a half just to ride our horse to where the cows are located currently. And so if we are having to provide assistance to those cows during calving season, it does make it a little bit harder for us.
And during their lifespan, the cows here are treated quite well. According to Salchow, the less stress a cow has during their lifetime, the better the product.
We want them to be calm and quiet, which overall helps impact a nutritious value beef. We don't want, when it comes time for harvest, for them to be harvested, we don't want them to be considered a dark cut when there is an abundance of adrenaline built up in the muscles. We want that red meat, we want that meat to be nice and red.
Arizonans continue to put beef on their tables. In 2016, cattle sales were more than $1 billion, according to the council. In Gold Canyon, Ashley Carter, Cronkite News.
Other common practices for ranchers include vaccinating cattle and having nutritionists on hand.
He was lost, but now he's found. Researchers are founding that red snap, and he's become a bit of a celebrity, and how he's helping researchers learn more about this species that's in danger because of development. Cronkite News reporter Gabrielle Oliveira introduces us to red snap.
This pile of trash at the Rio Salado Habitat Restoration Area might not look like much, but it was once home to a burrowing owl named Red Snap.
So they were trapped safely, humanely, when they were living in this trash pile, and they were fitted both with bands, with the colored bands.
And that's how Red Snap got his name.
So they were part of a 2-year study out of the New Mexico State University, looking at the success of relocated burrowing owls. So the reason that we know the fate of the snaps is that they were wearing these transmitters.
New Mexico State researchers lost the radio signal for Red Snap in the summer of 2018. They thought they'd seen the last of him. Until recently, when a hiker spotted an owl with a red tag and sent it to Audubon, Arizona. When Kathy Weiss saw the photo, she says she knew who the owl was immediately.
We're very surprised that he's back at the same area that he was at before. So it's exciting. It means that he may re-nest.
His original mate, Whitesnap, died, although Weiss says they aren't sure how. Janon Reedon is with New Mexico State University. She volunteers to build these artificial burrows for owls like Red Snap and studies their behavior.
The development is pushing them to look for new habitat, and if they don't have the habitat, then they end up finding spots that aren't very good burrows, so they'll find a pipe to live in and something like that. So it gives the burrows give them a safe place to go and raise a family.
This artificial burrow is now home for Red Snap as he looks for another mate. He's also become a bit of a local celebrity after being featured in a story in the Washington Post.
Stories like this that people can relate to animals and I do that all the time. When you get to know these animals, they have personalities, they do different things. So that gets people attached and caring about the wildlife and animals.
In Phoenix, Gabrielle Oliveira, Cronkite News.
Burrowing owls are protected under the Migratory Bird Act, but the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service reports their numbers are declining, in large part because of development.
You don't see couches, VHS tapes, and wedding dresses at the front of a school very often.
But the Phoenix West Rotary Club and 80 families cleaned out their garages in an effort to raise money for Phoenix school teachers. Sammy Giebers has the story.
This suitcase is $4, Mommy. That suitcase is $4.
There's nothing quite like finding a deal.
50 cents.
This is a rare sight for the front of Solano Elementary School in North Central Phoenix.
So you could close this?
It's not every day that you can hang out on a couch in your schoolyard.
Iron Man Club.
The Rotary Club is putting on a yard sale
to benefit the teacher mini grant program of the Osborne School District.
Today we're having a big yard sale.
Today I had so much fun at
The Rotary Club dragged all this furniture, books, and paintings to fund special projects for teachers of the Osborne School District.
If you don't understand something, they'll help you understand it better.
Further illustrates to teachers that there are people in the community that have their back, that are willing to support education and help in any way we can.
The money used will end up helping teachers and thus helping out kids like Naraya and Nairi.
So we can build a better community for them.
And every time them build another one, them go build one for them kids.
Nana!
And the grown-ups.
Nana! Please, please, please.
Be it for schools or anything else, when I had the insane idea of having this sale, I had never heard of a massive family get-together, certainly not for charity. People have been amazed that everything we have here has been donated.
It may be an untraditional way to raise money for schools, but getting kids further along in their education is what this yard sale is all about.
Thank you very much.
In Phoenix,
enjoy.
Sammy Giebers, Cronkite News.
The yard sale raised over $2,000 on Saturday. The Phoenix West Rotary Club raises money every year to support teachers with projects and purchases that can't be covered with tax dollars.